So,
It is popcorn time on the Riot.
you know what? This popcorn is growing on me.
It is?
Not the Cheeto part, though.
Really? You'll hear in this podcast, which we talked about yesterday, the Riot talked about a Regal Cinema Cheetos popcorn that's going to be unveiled in certain theaters today, and then in other theaters next Friday, and some of the Regal Cinema theaters never.
Yeah.
Or at least not right now. They're going to just try to see if you like. It's cheese popcorn, Cheetos covered popcorn, and Cheetos combined together. So we do our DIY and make our own version today.
I'm proud of us, Nikki.
That we did something?
Yeah. Oh, we did. We cooked. What is cooking? Putting together a bunch of ingredients.
You did that. You did it.
We did it.
Now, you can find out the extended look at us doing our DIY if you go to our Radio U Riot Facebook page. We were there on Facebook Live during the entire cooking process. And the video of it, too, is up on our Radio U Riot YouTube channel, though that's just the edited version.
Just to die for.
Good job.
I think I'm just getting hungrier, and it's tasting better.
Anything will taste good at this point. We also talked to Shane from For All Eternity. He's in Australia, and it was so nice to talk to him.
Crap, I got to put that in the podcast.
We talk about the new album, The Will to Rebuild. That's available through shop.radiou.com if you'd like more details on it, but it was great to catch up with him.
Okay. Other things you'll hear, The Simpsons. Ooh, MoviePass. I finally used it, so I will tell you if it worked. The short version is yes. The long version is in the podcast. Also, we talk about porch pirates, taking the day off for the royal wedding, and where I'm at on Chromecast.
And then there was just lots of other, again, popcorn talk.
Yeah, a lot of eating popcorn.
Have a wonderful day.
It's the Riot.
Let's take all of the most mind-numbing things the Riot has ever said and play them again.
It's a stupid idea, but I love it.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
So yesterday, I used my MoviePass.
Now, I thought you could not use it because you already had purchased your tickets.
Well, here's how it goes. First off, what's today? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. I went to the dentist. And my idea was, on my way to the dentist, there's a movie theater over there. I'm going to pull into the parking lot. I'm going to use my MoviePass. I'm going to buy a ticket to a movie that I have no intention of going to see.
But to kind of like force it into activating?
Right. So got there, and the way it works, if you don't know, a couple things. First off, MoviePass is $10 a month, and you get a MasterCard in the mail, and you have to activate, you have to have a smartphone, so you have to download their app. You have to allow the app to ping your GPS location. You have to be within 100 yards of the movie theater.
Anytime you want to order a said ticket from it, because like you can't pre-order tickets through this thing. You have to just be like, I'm at the movie theater. I'm going to get the tickets.
Here's where it gets interesting. So yesterday, I did that. Still didn't work. So I contacted their support through the app and said, hey, my card says it's not activated, but I have my card in my hand. So over the course of about an hour, they do kind of a time-shifted support, which I actually enjoyed because I didn't have to respond right away and then they disappear. And so they were like, hey, give us the last 4 digits of your card. We'll activate it. So I did that. Boom, my card worked.
Hey, good.
So last night I was already at the movies and I already had my tickets. But I thought, hey, wouldn't it be nice if I just tried this? I mean, I'm here, right? So I went ahead and picked a movie, activated the MoviePass, and then I used my MoviePass to buy a movie ticket. But here's the hook. I used that MoviePass to buy a ticket for a movie that happens today. So they had activated, as I understand it, they basically put money on the card. Then you can use the card, and whatever you get at the kiosk, you can select almost anything as long as there's enough money to cover it on the card in that moment. So I bought a ticket yesterday, but it is for today.
For today. Okay.
So that means today I could buy a ticket for today, tomorrow, next week, whatever. I just have to
You get one a day and you have to be there.
Right. I've got to be at the theater in order to use it and buy the ticket.
Well, okay. So once it started to work, does it seem fine?
I had no trouble with it whatsoever.
Do you still get to pick your seats? That was the only thing I was confused about.
Well, yes, but again, keep in mind there's no digital way. Like they don't do e-ticketing. Like there are some theaters that do e-ticketing through MoviePass.
So you're there anyway, so you're going to pick it up while you're buying your ticket at that moment. You
Exactly.
got it. Okay.
So I couldn't do it. I can do it in advance, but I had to do it physically at the theater.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't right now when I use we typically go to a Marcus Cinema and I use their app. Like I buy a ticket and I
your
do whatever,
seat.
and I pick my own seat, and that's how that works. But that's not the way that works. Like, I got a physical ticket yesterday, and I was able to pick my seat, but I was there using the kiosk picking my seat.
So the only downfall is if the movie's popular, you might not get a nice seat because you can't do it in advance.
Right.
Unless you go or pop over the day before.
Right. And which,
You
know, it's
did?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's weird. I have the ticket in my pocket to go to the movies today if I want to go to the movies today. And,
Well, congratulations.
yes.
Yay, you
Yes.
finally got it working.
But I'm good to go now. Let's do this, right?
Everybody wants to know how his MoviePass is working. Now that it's actually working, he'll be able to tell you maybe next week.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is it. The only thing that's left is for me to take my ticket and walk into the movie.
It's working now.
Like, it's happening.
Ever wonder what Nikki is doing when she isn't rioting? Find her Twitter feed at riot.radiou.com. Obadiah is there too, but who cares what he's doing?
I'm also excited to be a part of one of the few remaining broadcast entities that isn't owned by Walt Disney. Because
they own it all.
yeah, yesterday the merger. Wait, did it get okay? I don't know. They're saying it might be okay. Whatever.
I think everybody basically said
It looks like it's
good. Yeah, I believe so.
yeah. Because the only reason I say that is I saw where like there were some FTC concerns about it because basically it was so big.
Sure.
Those kind of things
But
happen.
it is so big, I don't think they can stop that.
Yeah. Oh, too big to fail, Nikki.
Exactly. Well, almost like too big to stop that train.
Yeah. But all of that being said, did you see what was being passed around yesterday from The Simpsons?
Yes, how they always get everything right.
It's amazing.
I wasn't sure if that was like a real,
It is real.
screenshot from an episode or what.
November 8th, 1998, The Simpsons episode titled When You Dish Upon a Star. It has a shot, and if you haven't seen it, it's all over the internet. But it is the 20th Century Fox logo, and at the bottom it says a division of Walt Disney Company.
Like, how did they do that? That's not the only time they've done that before.
It's just a one-off joke, too. Like, it's not... What the heck, man? Like, what in the heck? That is crazy.
And back then, I mean, was Walt Disney like, it wasn't quite like it is now to where you wouldn't have thought, like, well, of course they're going to own everybody.
I mean, Disney
That makes the joke even kind of odder.
Like, if you read up on it, like in the 80s, Disney was not so great. And so what ended up happening for them, like Disney mounted their big comeback with The Little Mermaid.
Was that it?
It was the one that was like, hey, so Disney's doing a thing. And then after The Little Mermaid, you had Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King.
Here comes the money.
Yeah, and it was like they started to really get on a roll.
They had a formula. It was working.
Does that feel familiar to you that they found a formula that worked and then they just kept cranking those movies out? Huh. Wonder if there's anything like that happening right now to the tune of over $1 billion a movie. And yeah. So now they've swallowed 20th Century Fox. But that's crazy.
Yeah, when I saw it on Twitter, I was like, whoa. And again, I wasn't sure if it really was from an episode or someone just made a mock-up or something. And it's like, nope, that's from an episode.
Wow. Well, you know what? Simpsons writers, way to be. They say you're not doing as good these days.
Simpsons writers from the past. You were on top of things. You were on fire. It was amazing.
19 years ago.
It's like now I don't even know if you do that anymore, but it was so cool.
Well, what we need to do is start combing old Simpsons episodes for stock trading advice.
Well, someone did. Well, someone found that. I mean, how were they just perusing the episode and caught it, or what?
Could have been
Are there
that.
archives online of all the little things that you catch on the episodes?
Nikki, have you ever sat down and listened to Chris and I talk about Seinfeld?
Oh yeah, and there's people like that with
that for the Simpsons.
Sure,
yep.
Absolutely.
They're out there, so there you go. It's all over the web today, but if you haven't seen it, it really is kind of amazing.
The part that keeps me up at night, we paid them for this. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
You know, I don't know if you guys know about Josh. He's the host of The Most Wanted. He's a funny guy. No, really, like he is a funny guy. And you really need to make sure you check in on Radio U's Facebook page and or our Twitter feed, like every night, somewhere between 8 and 10. Josh seems to every night post something that to me, like, I just feel like he just knocks it out of the park. It's crazy.
Strikes
the
the
stuff he
chord.
comes up with. Did you see what he tweeted last night?
What was it?
This is what's got me all messed up. Okay, The Grinch,
Yeah.
Frosty,
Yes.
Charlie Brown,
Yeah.
Rudolph.
Sure.
And so it's like the 4 Christmas specials. One of them has to go forever.
Which one would drop?
Of the 4, which one would you absolutely get rid of?
It's easy.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, your choice?
The Grinch.
Really?
Yeah, I never cared for it.
No, I keep the Grinch.
Well, which one would you?
I want you to tell me why you want to get rid of the Grinch.
I never connected with that story as much. Frosty's a cute snowman.
Have you ever
Rudolph
thought
is
about...
a story of, empowerment no matter what's going on with your nose.
Okay, that actually, it's
Charlie Brown,
it's more relevant today than ever
because of beauty standards and all that. Charlie Brown, I never cared for, but you like, so by way of association, I'd pick that.
You're going to hang on to it?
That leaves the Grinch.
Now, see, Nikki, for me, Frosty is taking a trip to Florida.
It's on its way.
He's out. Like there's something about Frosty I don't like it.
Listen, snowmen are like bears to me, and it's fine. I can't.
I get it. I totally get it. I like the Grinch. And Nikki, here's the thing you have to remember is that if you get rid of the Grinch, no more Queen's Club Grinch.
Oh, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
No more Project 86
Mr. Grinch. True.
Right? If you want to reach all the way back, no more Sixpence None the Richer. Grinch.
We're not eliminating it like from our memory, are we? We're just saying one has to stop being on right now.
I think the idea is that if you, as I read Josh's question, and you can read it for yourself on Facebook and Twitter and respond as you will, but like the way I read it, that if I wipe it out, it's gone.
Gone from our memory?
Like, it's forever. It's eternal sunshine of the spotless mind.
Thank you, Thomas, for texting. He said, bye, Frosty.
Oh, man.
Bye-bye.
Tom's knocking him out, dude. Frosty. My thing is, like, Frosty's not a Christmas story. But wait, Santa's in it, isn't he?
Yes.
Santa shows up. And Santa, he takes him to the North Pole. That's right. He goes and lives at the North Pole where it's cold all the time.
Yeah, you can't get rid of that, can you?
You know what? I just remember as a kid being, I can't confirm this, but I seem to remember crying because Frosty goes away and they can't see Frosty anymore. And I remember just being like, Frosty, come back!
You want to change your vote now, or you still want to say goodbye to him?
I want to wipe him out because I could remove those childhood scars of Frosty being whisked away.
Well, see, this is the question you must ask yourself.
I also reject the idea that just by opening the door, Frosty magically reassembles himself.
But it's cold again. It's cold. I haven't watched Frosty in forever. I think I would have to watch it again.
It's been a while for me, too. Rudolph is... It's an important story. It's an important story.
It's there.
It's an important story, but I'm not in a hurry to go back and watch it. But Grinch and Charlie Brown, like, I'm ready. We can watch those right now. Like, fire it up. We should get a pizza and watch it. It'll be a treat.
Well, if you want to join us on our Radio U Facebook page, you'll see Josh's post from last night. Or if you follow us at Radio U on Twitter, you can also join that conversation there, too.
Man. What are you going to do? Who are you going to eliminate? 4 childhood friends, and you got to put... One of them's gone. You won't even remember them.
Who do you take out first?
If you were offended or disgusted by anything Obadiah said this morning...
If you weren't so dumb, I might be offended.
You must be new. You'll get used to it. The Riot on Radio U.
I shouldn't be surprised by this. In fact, this is stuff that should have been happening a long time ago, but the amount of just thievery that is taking place this holiday season from people's porches is amazing.
What do they call them? Porch pirates?
Porch pirates. And again, if you think about this for just a minute, like, hey, I'm just going to put this stack of expensive presents out on my porch. Now, nobody take it.
Yeah, but don't you think back when companies first started delivering, I feel it comes with, online shopping. So I'm sure they did that back with the start of the post office. But I mean, like nowadays, currently, how we order so much stuff and it gets delivered. Back then, they thought like humanity was just better and we could handle having it that way, or what?
I think that's a legitimate question.
And now we're not able to handle it.
Well, I just feel like it's become prominent enough that people are like, man, I don't need to go to the mall. I just drive around random neighborhoods. I like to go to the nicer neighborhoods and just pick the stuff right off their porch.
But when a company like Amazon, they're testing their in-house delivery service where you're letting someone in with your technology with a camera and you still feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yet leaving all your pricey stuff outside, you're fine with.
Well, you know what? I feel like it's one of those things where somebody comes along and steals your stuff off the porch, then at that point, I mean, what do? Do you tell Amazon? Like, hey, someone stole?
And they're normally just fine with it. Like, they give you the benefit of the doubt unless you're constantly. Yeah. Then they might call you on it.
But I mean, my thought is, I don't like the idea of letting someone in my house because, and maybe this is dumb, but I don't want them looking around.
But if they're on camera the entire time.
I know, but it's not what they're going to do then. Mm-hmm. It's what they might come back and do later. So they find out how to get into my house, and it's like, well, this is a one-time use code. Whatever.
No, you have to buzz them in. They don't get a code.
Okay, well, whatever it is, you let them in, but they walk in and they're like, this is nice.
It's your private area, sure.
This is nice. I'd like to have that and that. And look at these photos. I'd like to, maybe I'll take a couple of these people with me.
This looks nice.
I'm going to come in and make myself at home here. Sure, I like it here.
I could understand.
That is literally my thought. But I do think that the porch piracy thing's obviously going to get worse.
So that'll lead towards...
Yes.
Eventually one day we'll probably have to let someone in.
And it's enough of a problem that Amazon is obviously going to have to address it because their money is made delivering things. And if they're losing enough money and confidence of people because all of this stuff is being stolen, then, they're going to have to do something about it. I'm looking at one right now. Here's a woman who is stealing. This is amazing. These guys bought a treadmill. This lady runs up this treadmill.
She's taking a treadmill from the porch?
The treadmill weighs 66 pounds. She runs up, and I got to give her credit. Like, she is...
She's trying.
Oh, and she's moving fast. She runs up, and she does a big bear hug on the treadmill, picks it up, and kind of like tries to run off with it because she's taking it. Just to let you know, it was for a person who had recently been diagnosed with cancer, and exercise was part of their
thing
their
with
therapy.
It.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for stealing the cancer patient's treadmill.
I don't like to judge by people, and judge appearances or judge age and things like that. But sometimes when I see these porch pirate videos, I'm shocked by it. Looks like a mom who's just home that day.
I know.
Who's stealing all these things. Like, you wouldn't think it's like she's 40 or something and she's free for that day, and so she just went around and stole things. Or like someone who looks like a grandma who's going and ripping the things off your porch.
It definitely defies expectations.
It's weird. You're like, why are you doing this?
I don't know.
But I guess they're playing on that because they assume people won't think to ask them why are they taking their stuff off the porch.
Well, you know what? In fairness, like, okay, let's say you're home and you see somebody run up and take something off your neighbor's porch. You'd be like, it would take you a minute
to actually realize what's going on.
You'd be like, is that straight? Because what do you see the Amazon people do? They drive up, if you're in an Amazon local delivery place, they drive up in an unmarked car, put a package on the porch,
or you have at Christmas a lot of even Postal Service. They use just other employees, fill-in ones who aren't dressed in the uniform and are in different cars, and they're just throwing things at your porch.
All they would have to say to you is oh yeah, these were delivered to the wrong house. They're supposed to go down the street. Done.
And then there goes your stuff.
Hey, that was easy, Nikki. We should try it.
Recycling paper is like planting a tree. Recycling the riot is like burning down the rainforest.
We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I will tell you, if you're looking for a chance to get a peek, want to see what's happening, the riot is right now live on Facebook. So you can find us at facebook.com/Radio U.
Or if you join us on our show page at Radio U Riot. This is actually good because it gets you prepared for... On Wednesday, we're doing a Riot Ugly Christmas Sweater Party, and that'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on our Facebook pages, and that'll be a special Christmas show.
I'm saying take that, Regal Cinemas.
Are you changing
Does it feel a little too... No, I'm sharing it on the Riot page.
Oh, you are? That's fine.
Do you feel like that's a little too antagonistic?
No, I don't think so. We are going to be taste testing our own DIY. It's a new segment for us here at Radio U.
Yeah, we don't always do that.
We are doing a DIY with the Regal Cinemas Cheetos popcorn. That's available starting today in some, and then next Friday in other locations, but not all theaters are getting it.
Okay, so here's what I got. Ingredients. I've got the actual Cheetos. All right, so that's something. And then what I have to show you the box, I've got this Orville Redenbacher gourmet cheddar cheese popcorn, which I will tell you, I have had this before. In fact, I thought there was a time in my life that I was buying these boxes regularly.
Yeah.
And I would swear to you that they discontinued this popcorn.
Possibly.
I would swear that they did because I have not been able to find it in like a bajillion years.
But
and when I saw
with
it
the moment
yesterday,
we need it, it's like it's here.
man, Orville came through. It's just like, bro, thank you so much for being there.
So I thought at first when Regals and Cheetos announced this popcorn combination, they actually unveiled the cheese popcorn at, I think it was Comic-Con or something in 2015. But
So you're saying that... Wait, okay. I'm sorry. Keep going.
This sort of combination of popcorn, they unveiled there, and I think it's been at a few various like sporting events and just random places.
Okay.
But this will be the first time that it's in theaters. But at first I thought it was regular movie theater popcorn with Cheeto pieces in it, but it's not. It's Cheeto-covered popcorn and Cheeto pieces in it.
So here's what I'm doing. Look, I pour a little bit of Cheetos in.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I'll put a little bit of the popcorn in. And then I figure out, like,
Are you doing half and half, or?
Well, the ratio's important. So what I was thinking is, like, we'll do a little and a little.
Mix it up.
You're never going to get...
Borky.
One thing's for sure, at least this is what I'm thinking. The theater is for sure going to skimp on the
Cheetos.
actual Cheetos, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because popcorn costs roughly 5 cents, parts per billion, but the Cheetos are where there's an actual expense
the
there.
cheese is the money part.
Yeah, so, all right, so I'm mixing it up, getting it in there. We're getting ready.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you one song. You just keep working on it. But please don't forget.
Like a real chef.
This is what
Look at
DIY is.
Combining ingredients, using the microwave. It's like working at TGI Fridays.
You're doing really well. So please take a moment. Go with us, too, to Radio U and Radio U Riot on Facebook and say hello while you're there, and we will DIY our Cheetos popcorn in just a moment.
You forget how good a Cheeto really is.
It's a classic. It's probably my top one.
The Riot's future, 2 words. Goat Farm. Radio U.
It is the Riot, and this is the
Popcorn
first
time.
Riot DIY food fight.
So Regal Theaters announced a partnership with Cheetos, and we talked about that yesterday and a little bit this morning. But it's not coming to a cinema near us because that company doesn't have one close enough to us.
Because we're not cool enough to have the Cheetos at our Regal cinemas that we never go to anyway.
We have all the other cinema companies, but not them. So it's basically popcorn, movie theater popcorn, Cheeto covered with pieces of Cheetos in it. So Obi decided to take matters into his own hand, and this is our first DIY, like with the official title. We did this before. We tried to make that Pepsi coffee, wasn't it, from Japan?
It was Coke, wasn't it?
Coke
It was Coke coffee. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did that with Hudson. Hudson did a great job on that, and you can find that in the archives on Facebook or in our YouTube channel there, Radio U Riot. Okay, so look, we got that, and then we're combining Cheetos with Orville Redenbacher, cheddar cheese, microwave popcorn.
You need cheese popcorn with this.
Yes, you do.
If you're going to
If you're
make
gonna
your
go
own
for the full
version.
effect.
Oh my gosh, I could totally take this into the movie theater on my own. I want to take in a bag of Cheetos.
I'm
and
not
then
mad at you.
Popcorn, and then you mix it together.
I want to say what's up to Susan, Aaron, and Mark just joining us on Facebook there. So are you ready?
I want to get enough.
So, yeah, how are you going to do it? Like
I want 2 Cheetos and 2 pieces of popcorn.
I
No,
feel
3
like-
pieces of popcorn.
I feel like your
that
Cheeto
too
ratio
much?
is too high because if you go to Regal Cinemas,
I'll be
you're
disappointed.
never getting that many
Okay,
Cheetos.
I want a big Cheeto and,
All right, a
and
Cheeto.
2 pieces or 3 pieces of popcorn.
All right, that's about what I got here. You ready?
Okay, good.
I feel like the Cheeto melted in my mouth, and I'm not sure.
Cheeto dust.
It is. I'm joking on it.
You know what part I don't like about it as much?
What?
The popcorn.
Well, at a theater, it would be greasier.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know?
I'm just going to need the Cheetos out of this thing.
Like a whole bag of those.
I still think I would like Cheetos and movie theater butter popcorn.
Yes.
That I think I would like tops more than cheese popcorn because I never really went with cheese popcorn too much.
I feel like I take Nikki to the movie. She gets Cheetos popcorn, and she's like, you know what would be really good?
If you eat the popcorn part and I eat the Cheetos.
Those little cheese things that are in there, if they just sold these by themselves, that'd be amazing.
Oh,
They're
this
so
is
good.
still so good, though. I really like the crunchy combination with popcorn.
Oh.
Where's all my Cheetos at? They fall to the bottom. They fall to the bottom.
No, I put some on the bottom.
Oh, did they? How am I supposed to get to them without getting all cheesy?
I'll tell you what happened, Nikki. I gave you 4 layers. I put Cheetos, popcorn, and my thought was you go in.
But I think I shook it.
You really, yeah.
And it's like panning for gold. It just all fell down.
And I think what you're really looking for, in all honesty, is I should have just put all the Cheetos on the top.
Cheetos are so good in popcorn. I like this a lot. Still, movie theater butter popcorn I would prefer.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry to be so.
Is it underwhelming?
I think it's okay.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But given the option, I love cheddar popcorn.
Yeah.
I love it. This is going to sound ridiculous, but I don't feel like it's cheddar enough.
Now, Megan said that there's a cinema near her, so she's going to try it for us. Megan, if you could take a picture and let us know, but it's not out until the 22nd where you're at, so it's not out yet. You're coughing every one of our...
I can't help it, okay?
Lately, still coughing.
I don't want to cough.
But I want to seriously take a bag of Cheetos to the next time I go to the movies, and I'm going to combine them together. Well, I thought if I bought a throwaway purse, like just a bag or a duffel, and then that way I can mix it in there.
Just a couple $100.
No, we're talking like a $5 little, or a free with purchase duffel bag. You bring it in like your bag, and then you have the Cheetos in there. You take the popcorn, you dump it in there, you shake it up, and then that's where you can eat from.
Man, I told you the other thing that you could do because you're a girl, you can get one of those fake bellies and be pregnant.
Just put
shove
it all in
the
there?
fake belly, and then... We saw that. Like, I saw a lady on Instagram that was doing that.
On, like, layers of lying, I think I'd prefer just to bring in the bag and just make my own. I think I'll go with that.
I mean, it's cool. It's less of an investment.
I guess we'll go with it. So, thank you for joining us for our first ever Riot DIY.
And you're thinking, you're saying, let me ask you this question.
Cheetos are tops, but I would prefer to try this with movie theater butter popcorn.
Would you make this at home?
No, not with cheese popcorn.
No, not good. Okay.
But with butter, which we have movie theater butter popcorn in the cabinet as well.
And we have a microwave.
We still have Cheetos.
And
we could do this, but it's right. Good though. I like having the crunchy stuff with the popcorn. I think we're moving towards something good.
All right.
Send your complaints regarding that worst of the riot moment to Fire Obadiah at RadioU.com.
Joining us on the Skype
from Australia is Shane with For All Eternity. Good morning. How are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
We're very good. Or I guess we should say good evening to you since it's late night for you.
Good evening, yes. Pretty crazy having a chit-chat from the other side of the world, but hey, glad to be here. Thanks, guys.
So in Australia, how many time zones do you guys have there? Do you have like 3 or 4, or is it all one?
Yeah, we've got about, I think it's 3, so sort of East Coast, central down the middle of Australia, and then the West Coast. So we've got 3 time zones, not that dissimilar from the States. So
okay.
Pretty unreal, man.
So where are you? Remember, we know almost nothing about Australia, except I saw that one movie with Hugh Jackman about the drover. So where are you in Australia?
I am in Sydney, so it's pretty much our largest capital city on the East Coast. So up north is Brisbane, then there's Sydney, and then down south is Melbourne. So they're probably some familiar city names, but yeah, in terms of where they're located, there's probably not a great awareness in the US in that regard.
Okay, so what's the metal? I mean, I don't even know if you would consider yourselves in For All Eternity, if you would say metal, hardcore, however you want to describe yourself.
Yeah, like a heavy sort of band, yeah.
Well, I did something I hate doing, is I hate using genre names, because anytime you do, somebody says you labeled me, and so don't label our music. So whatever genre you choose to be, what is that scene like in Australia?
Oh man, it's an amazing scene actually. I mean, the last half decade, we've seen a lot of really amazing bands come out of Australia. The scene has absolutely transformed through that time. There used to be a much stronger underground sort of local music scene, and gigs were happening all the time, and it was really just absolutely booming here. It's definitely slowed down a bit, probably in the last 2 or so years, and bands instead of doing shows, bands are definitely sticking more to doing tours of capital cities and supporting larger bands, and we're really fortunate to get a lot of really great US and European bands out in Australia, which are often paired with an Australian band to tour with. So We're actually, I mean, even though we're so far away, it seems to be a really popular thing for bands, especially American bands, to do, is to come over and tour Australia. I mean, it seems that they just always have such a great time. So we're definitely spoiled for choice, even though we're so far away, which is really nice.
This is Shade with For All Eternity, and the new album, The Will, is out today. But the question for you is then, if you turn around and if you want to come tour the United States, it's such a long haul and probably a lot of paperwork and a lot of costs.
It really is.
Is it even really is. Is it worth it for like the turnaround of it? Because you have so many fans here, though.
Oh, we do, absolutely. I mean, we've, as you know, we're signed to Face Down Records, who are based out of California. They've been really great to us, and we've actually very fortunately played a few Face Down festivals a couple of years now, back to back, which we've really loved. And we've recorded I think 3 albums now over in the States, which has been such an amazing experience for us. Yet to do an extensive, yet to tour in the States. We've just done the one-off festivals and a few bits and pieces over there. But you're correct. There is definitely there's quite a bit to be done before we even touch the ground over there. Yeah, that's right.
So when you do an album, like you're saying, you're signed on Face Down Records in the United States. Does that mean you're also signed on Face Down Records in Australia, or do you have like an Australian label and an American label? Like, how does that work?
Face Down Records do have, in terms of the way that this industry is now and everything's just digital. We do have a global distribution through Face Down, which drapes over Australia and Europe and things like that. So our albums readily available through streaming sites and iTunes and all that sort of stuff. Okay. Through the Face Down distribution network. In terms of physical, in the past we have had distributors in Australia to distribute our album physically in stores here. But this time around, just the way that music's going and the way that the industry's heading, it just made sense to us to have everything localized through Face Down. It just keeps things a little bit tidier, and it makes a little bit more sense for us this time around, I think.
Oh, I love talking to someone with an Australian accent. Isn't it nice? Instead of us, it's like, oh, it's so nice.
Can you understand me okay?
Oh, yeah,
sure?
Absolutely. No, you're perfectly fine. This is Shane with For All Eternity. We are doing a New Music Friday, so today you have a chance to win all day today the new album, The Will to Rebuild, from For All Eternity. And, of course, grab the details through shop.radiou.com if you are not fortunate enough to win a copy.
Now, we've only really talked the business, but I'm fascinated, by how a band, handles different countries. But let's talk about the music. The album is The Will to Rebuild, and it's out today. What sets this album apart from the other?
Oh, very excited. I'm so stoked to have the record out. In the past, I don't know, our approach to this album was definitely a little bit different in terms of structure and songwriting. So what we actually intended to do with the record before we even started writing our instruments was we wanted, I guess, to summarize the record in its sound. We really wanted the record to sound like what heavy music would sound like if it met with like a movie soundtrack. So it's really big, really theatrical. There's a lot of symphonic elements. There's a lot of large string section, just massive soundscapes that will really. Before we even started writing our own instruments, we were really mindful of that in telling the story of the music just through this this massive medium of not just our instruments alone, but through really big post-production and really big compositional work. The record is actually made up of so many different parts, and it's we worked with Josh Schroeder. We actually went over to Michigan and recorded with him earlier in the year, and he's just done such a tremendous job of bringing all the elements together, making it all sound cohesive, and it just makes sense together. And he's done a really tremendous job to have our music, our vocals, and all of our post-production, all of our effects and everything just come together really nice into one package.
Shane, thank you so much for making time for us.
Yes, we're so excited for it today.
Whatever day or time it is for you.
Yeah, that's right. No worries, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Wish the worst of the riot would never end?
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
What is wrong with you? Get our daily podcast through iTunes, Google Play, or the Radio U app.
Nikki, do you feel like it's too early for me to start requesting days off for next year?
Possibly, since we haven't finished this year, as a an employment sort of standing point of like when when documents or stuff are done, things like that. We traditionally just like it in that year.
Okay. Oh, you know what though? This will be okay because this is happening on a Saturday anyway. So you're
not working.
Yeah, I don't typically work on Saturdays, so I should be fine. They just announced that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are getting married on Saturday, May 19th at Windsor.
You want the day open?
Yeah, I just want the whole day because I want to be able to, and with the time difference, I'm going to have to get up super early. And I'm just going to have like a royal wedding party. And it's going to be huge.
To die?
Oh, you don't even know.
It's going to be great.
Don't even get me started on it. But
now,
it is going to be so fantastic.
I know sometimes people are like, we don't know whether to, like, is Obi teasing us or is he serious? You decide.
What do you guys think? What do you think? Do I strike you as a colonial that's interested in the royal wedding?
We hate our news sources because actually, at first you're like, oh, it's a breath of fresh air because it used to be all Kardashian stuff. And then it became all this royal wedding stuff. Or royal baby and then like royal wedding stuff for this. And it drives us crazy because we don't care as much as this news source does.
You know what drives me really crazy? When I'm out places and I'm all up on the gossip. I didn't even try. So
you just know it all, though.
I'm like standing in line at a store correcting the two women gossiping in front of me about, something Nicki Minaj. And I'm like, no, that's not right.
You're like, why do I know this?
Let me tell you what really happened. All right. So it drives me insane.
I bet.
There's actively a part of my brain where I'm just like, where do I go in to get it scrubbed out?
Well, if you want the day off, though, if you find like we have an event that day, just put in your request a little bit earlier. But it's good we know the date for the royal wedding.
Well, here's the thing. If it's a first come, first served basis kind of thing, this break right here, I'm recording this. This is my proof. This is my proof. So somebody's, Hudson comes in like, well, I can't come in. I'm watching the royal wedding. And I'll be like, not so fast, son.
And you asked first.
Nikki, hit play. All right, I'm taking the day. So, but you know what? Nikki will probably work that day for us because she doesn't care about things like weddings and romances and Hallmark movies. Doesn't matter.
Or princes.
Doesn't matter.
Not any prince.
With virtual reality, the possibilities are endless. It gives us the ability to live out any of our wildest dreams. So maybe we can use it to pretend the riot doesn't exist. The Riot on Radio U.
Amazon just made an announcement. They're going to be doing something they haven't done in a while. They are going to start selling again the Google Chromecast and Apple TV.
That was a couple of years ago where I felt like Amazon tried to throw their weight around.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, well, we're not going to carry that because it was pretty much the direct competition to when they launched a lot of their Fire stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't want to carry what would end up being, even though did other sellers sell it, but just not directly like Amazon?
I believe that's true.
So you could still find it on Amazon, but it would have been from another party seller.
Mm-hmm. So what they've ended up doing is Amazon is doing that, and they're now selling they're making the Amazon Video app available on Apple TVs. And it sounds like that may end up being a similar thing. Like Google has started making it hard for you to access YouTube on Amazon devices. Mm-hmm. And so it sounds like maybe they're in some backwards, like, okay, fine. You have to give us YouTube, but we'll do this. And let me just throw out there, a year, 2 years, I can't remember how long ago, I bought a Chromecast and I hated it. And I sold it to somebody else. I was like, I don't like this. You might like it, and whatever. And I've got an NVIDIA Shield, which works as a Google Chromecast, and I love it.
You were just too early.
I use it all the time. In fact, I put a Chromecast music in my basement, hooked up to my receiver, and I am about to just snag a Chromecast video to also put in my basement, and I'm thinking about getting a Chromecast for my bedroom TV. And it's like, that's ridiculous, Obadiah. Why, yes, it is. You're
Ebenezer.
Right. But you know what?
Come on, guys.
I'm basically just waiting for them. My thought is this. I should get 1 or 2 gift cards for Christmas, and they're on sale every other week.
Yeah.
So it's like they're $30 or $40 normally, but I'll be able to get one for $20 or $15 if I hang around. And I just can't get over how much I use it. I use Google Play Music now, and so I'm always casting music to my TV and playing music through my soundbar. And then, I watch a lot of YouTube. And so I'm screwing around with my phone or my tablet, and I see something on YouTube, and I'm like, sure, I'll watch it on the TV and just cast it to the TV. And I am surprised by how much I use the casting option. A lot.
But sometimes when technology comes out, like a couple of years ago, it just you weren't in the right place at the right time.
Right.
But now it seems like you are.
Well, I think part of it is I feel like the apps have caught up.
Yeah,
so
they
like
get better.
the majority of the apps that I use, my tablet and my phone, they all have a casting option. So it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna cast that
I'll watch it over there.
Sure, I will.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So I have been impressed. And so my fingers crossed. Hey, Amazon, since you're selling them now, why don't you put them on a good sale? I know a guy that's on the lookout.
This was the worst of the riots, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at radiou.com/donate.
I'm going to hold the bag, and you have to make piggy sounds while you eat out of the bag. No hands.